Why did Jungkook walk out of the hospital looking devastated? What happened to Taehyung that left him lying weak in a hospital bed? Fans were left in shock when reports surfaced about Taehyung's emergency hospitalization following an extreme winter military training session. But the most heartbreaking moment came when Jungkook, his closest friend and BTS bandmate, had to leave his side. The pain on his face was unmistakable, and the story behind it is one that will break even the toughest hearts. It all started during an intense military drill in sub-zero temperatures, an exercise meant to push soldiers to their absolute limits. Taehyung, known for his endurance and determination, was giving his all. But the unforgiving cold, paired with the relentless physical demands, took a toll on his body. Reports suggest that the singer collapsed due to extreme fatigue, dehydration, and hypothermia. His fellow trainees were quick to seek help, and he was rushed to the nearest military hospital. What happened next, however, is what truly left fans worried. Jungkook, who had been keeping tabs on his Hyung's military journey despite their separation, reportedly dropped everything to see him the moment he heard the news. Eyewitnesses at the hospital claim he arrived in a hurry, his face etched with concern. Those who saw the reunion between Jungkook and Taehyung said it was nothing short of emotional. Jungkook held his friend's hand, whispering words of comfort, while Taehyung, too weak to respond much, managed to give him a reassuring squeeze. But the warmth of their moment was soon overshadowed by the harsh reality of duty. As much as Jungkook wanted to stay by his side, he couldn't. Military rules are strict, and Jungkook himself is bound by his own service commitments. The moment came when he had to leave, and those who witnessed it said his expressions spoke louder than words. He tried to stay strong, but the sadness in his eyes was undeniable. Fans who caught a glimpse of him walking out of the hospital saw a side of Jungkook rarely seen in public. His head hung low, his usual bright energy nowhere to be found. The scene left armies across the world heartbroken. Social media flooded with messages of support for both Jungkook and Taehyung, with many voicing their concern about Taehyung's condition. Speculation ran wild. Was Taehyung going to be okay? Would his recovery affect his military service? And most of all, how is Jungkook handling the emotional weight of having to walk away from one of his closest friends at such a vulnerable time? One thing is for certain, their bond remains unbreakable. Jungkook, known for his deep affection for his members, is undoubtedly carrying the pain of not being able to stay by Taehyung's side. The question that lingers now is, when will the two be reunited, and how long will Taehyung need to recover? As the news spreads, fans hold their breath for updates. Will Taehyung's condition improve soon? And how is Jungkook dealing with the separation? The answers remain uncertain, but one thing is clear. This heartbreaking moment has only proven, once again, the unshakable love between two brothers who've been through it all together. As the hours passed after Jungkook's painful departure from the hospital, fans couldn't shake the image of his devastated expression as he walked away, forced to leave behind one of the most important people in his life. Questions swirled. What was going through his mind at that moment? Was Taehyung awake enough to realize Jungkook had left? And most importantly, how serious was Taehyung's condition? Hospital sources, though tight-lipped due to military confidentiality, hinted that Taehyung's condition was stable but required strict monitoring. Hypothermia and exhaustion are not to be taken lightly, and with the intense nature of military training, recovery can be unpredictable. The grueling conditions he endured were far beyond what civilians could imagine. Bone-chilling temperatures, extreme physical exertion, and relentless drills designed to test the limits of human endurance. It wasn't just a matter of pushing through the cold, it was a test of survival, and unfortunately, even someone as strong as Taehyung had reached his breaking point. Meanwhile, Jungkook, now back at his base, was reportedly not himself. Those serving alongside him described a noticeable shift in his demeanor, quieter, more distant, carrying the weight of worry in his every move. He had always been the strong one, the one who smiled through hardships, but this was different. He wasn't just concerned about Taehyung's well-being, he was battling the helplessness of not being able to do anything about it. Fans, too, couldn't stay silent. The hashtag #GetWellSoonTaehyung trended worldwide within hours, with millions of messages flooding social media. Many shared past moments of Jungkook and Taehyung's bond, the way they always supported each other from their trainee days to their peak as BTS members. Some recalled Jungkook's emotional moments from past interviews, where he had spoken about his deep admiration for Taehyung, calling him an older brother who had always guided him. One particular video resurfaced that hit fans the hardest, a clip from an old BTS concert where Jungkook had turned to Taehyung, his voice full of sincerity, saying, "Hyung, don't get sick. Stay strong, okay?" That moment, once just a simple exchange of words, now felt like a heartbreaking foreshadowing of the situation they were facing. Speculations ran wild. Was Taehyung's hospitalization more serious than initially reported? Could this incident affect the remainder of his military service? And most of all, would Jungkook be able to see him again before he fully recovered? Military regulations are notoriously strict, and exceptions are rarely made. The thought that Jungkook might not be able to visit again anytime soon made the situation even more painful for fans to digest. Yet, despite the worry, those who knew Taehyung best also knew one thing: he was a fighter. His journey in BTS had proven his resilience time and time again, from pushing through injuries on stage to standing strong even when facing criticism and hardships. If anyone could recover from this, it was him. The real question was, how long would it take? As days passed, small updates trickled in. A close acquaintance reportedly mentioned that Taehyung had shown signs of improvement, but full recovery would require rest and careful monitoring. The brutal nature of the training meant that his body needed time to heal, not just from the cold, but from the sheer exhaustion that had taken over. Jungkook, despite being unable to return, was doing everything he could from afar. According to a source, he had sent messages through mutual connections, constantly checking on Taehyung's condition. Some even speculated that he had asked for updates directly from hospital staff, though such claims couldn't be confirmed. What was clear, however, was that he was struggling with the separation just as much as Taehyung was, and then came a moment that left fans both relieved and emotional. Taehyung, despite still being weak, managed to send a message through a close friend. A simple, yet powerful message. "Tell Jungkook not to worry. I'll be fine. I don't want him to be sad." The message spread like wildfire, bringing tears to the eyes of armies worldwide. Even in his own moment of struggle, Taehyung's first instinct was to reassure Jungkook, to tell him not to be sad, even when he was the one lying in a hospital bed. Jungkook, upon receiving the message, reportedly smiled for the first time in days. But those close to him knew it wasn't the smile of someone who was at peace. It was the smile of someone holding back tears, of someone who wished more than anything that he could be there, right beside his Hyung, instead of reading words from afar. The bond between these two has always been one of the most cherished among BTS members, and this moment only reinforced it. No matter the distance, no matter the circumstances, their connection remained unshakable. But even as hope grew, another question loomed in the air. Would Taehyung's military service be affected by this incident? Would he be forced to take an extended leave? Or worse, be reassigned to lighter duties? The military rarely grants exceptions, but considering the severity of his condition, there was a possibility that adjustments might be made.